So, we're gonna mod our tabletop, like if we modded a game or our browser. Doesn't matter what the system is or will be, we'll make this work. Welcome, adventurers and friends. I'm M. Welcome to the DM table. Now, today's tabletop role-playing mod will be leveling mid-combat. So let's explain it. First, for this to work, we'll need to be giving out levels in a milestone fashion, where DM decides when a good threshold of achievement or story has been reached for a level up for adventurers. And that's what we'll use to spark our next situation that gives us new opportunities, which is leveling up mid-combat. Now, usually this is avoided because of proceedings of this level up being something best left for after the session and stuff like that, or before the session as the case may be. But there is some use to be having from having an option to level them up mid-combat, and not just them, but we'll get to that in a moment. You see, when there is an epic battle that is something that should be going well because players did rather well, and they are having great ideas, and they're doing exceedingly well with their tactics and their ideas, their mind, their performance, their role-playing well. You love how they're doing, but the dice won't have them, or it's not their day, the enemy just is overbalanced, you did something wrong or something like that. And you're one of those fair DMs, like I am, that doesn't fudge. But don't worry, I'm a sort of person that's capable of finding new paths on how players can have a nice game that's sort of a little bit lethal, but mostly not, without fudging, because we don't need fudging for dramatic purposes. We need dramatic solutions to avoid fudging so that people feel that they naturally achieved things which they naturally achieved. So, here we have a form of reward. When players are doing extremely well and they're close to a level, you don't need to wait. You can have them level up mid-combat. Now, this isn't Diablo, so you won't be refilling their HP and spells and whatnot, but what they get from level up, they can use. So their HP increases a bit. So now they have, say, 5 HP more or something, depending on what they're playing. And they might have one new spell slot, a new spell or something like that, and those you can consider that they can be filled. One of them, not all of their spells. They haven't rested, they haven't slept, they haven't memorized, they haven't done what they usually do. This might depend on system, but indeed, you can have them have what they would be able to have from a higher level. The difference. And that difference can make a difference if everybody suddenly gains new abilities. And this is also important. New class abilities, new things are happening. Now, even in a different classless system, new abilities are now happening that your players can use suddenly versus this strong and powerful and epic enemy, and imagine how great this battle becomes when this happens. And your players are now able to do that classical dramatic overturn with feeling new power surge through them in the middle of combat from their experiences days on end in combats like this that is nearly taking their lives away. You know, having what to protect, who to fight, what to do, and then they realize how to use their new power and overcome things and save the day. Isn't that great? This is what is at the heart of this mod, and indeed house rule, and we can have this, and it won't be disbalanced in any way anywhere, and it can happen even when they're not in mortal danger. Sometimes they can just feel their new power and make a slaughterhouse out of common enemies. Suddenly, that'll make for a very cool moment, and you'll have very happy players. Then again, there's the opposite. You can have sort of multiple forms of enemies just by them leveling up mid-combat when they're pressured enough and they're doing well like players would, and you think that they have deserved it. Enemies can level mid-combat too, and this is all there, fair and square. So you can tell players ahead of time that this is a rule and that they and enemies will be having it. So when it happens, players won't feel lame that you're saving them or something, because you're not. You're just giving them their natural abilities when they would naturally awaken. After all, the world doesn't wait for them to stop playing at the end of the evening. No, they level up when the going gets tough. So that's how we'll be doing that from now on. And this creates all kinds of stories, all kinds of back and forths where players level up, then enemies level up, then maybe players level up again if it's that climactic of a battle. Something like that, maybe. Not necessarily, but we have all kinds of opportunity now. But this is far from all of the uses. Sometimes they could level up immediately after the combat, because the next thing they'll be facing is the last room of the dungeon with the boss. Or the queen, as they call it in my country, but indeed. They could be feeling out all their new powers outside of combat, but immediately between two combats, or just two stages of a combat. Maybe if the boss is shifting stages due to them destroying his or her first body and the boss switching to a second body, you can have players level up then between stages where they're not in any specific danger. And another use is if you have a sort of martial arts or similar like that flavored campaign, after training they can level up. The sensei can tell them, great job, you have just achieved your next move requisites and now you can use it. That's one way of doing it, and that's indeed one other way where it's sort of just outside of combat but not really. And so many other uses wait for you and your players, and I hope you liked this mod and found this unique. And if you did adventure, maybe you can spare me a click and I could see you here next and perhaps every week. If you have some questions, I would love to hear them in the comments, and to see you here next time. Wish you luck on your adventures. Bye.